Welcome to how to use a belt to bulletproof your knees. You see the hamstrings are this beautiful muscle that adds protection right down into your knee. Now, Romanian deadlifts, good mornings are awesome, but those do place the stress on the upper part, whereas a Nordic gets in right behind the knee exactly as your ACL attaches from the back of the thigh to the front of the shin bone. So every ounce stronger we get on a Nordic, the more protected our knee gets. But let's dive into this really specifically, and I promise you can do this. In full disclosure, even if assisted, I do like 12 weeks of full knee bend first. We want that full knee bend as pain-free as possible because that does show indicators that it can strengthen our ligaments inside, although powerlifters do appear to have stronger ligaments than the average person. So I would not force you to do my first 12-week bodyweight program. It's optional, but I did want to give you this for full disclosure, and now let's get into it. So I only have 3 programs, and it's in the second program that we start working the Nordic. We begin with eccentrics, but my mom is on that second program right now. You can totally regress this to whatever is comfortable. So if you don't work through pain, you can guarantee yourself money in the bank for your knees. To be really specific, what those hamstrings can't handle, say on a squat or running, or look at Michael Jordan jumping from the foul line, well, you would simply put excess force into your knee. So, of course we want bulletproof knees, but we want bulletproof on the front and the back, and those hamstrings are extremely fast twitch, very powerful, and powerlifters themselves have popularized hamstring training about as much as anyone else. It was my original mentor, Charles Poliquin, who learned from powerlifters to really jack up that posterior chain. The difference is the Nordic just really gets in the most right behind the knee. And now let's dive into my third and final program, and you'll see the exact difference between a glute ham raise. Very similar, okay? Extend through the hips, pull with the hamstrings, but this gives you an exact measurable. So if anyone can relate to having an exact measurable, right? It's a powerlifter. There's something about knowing exactly what you're trying to achieve, and we are still then working on the way down, resetting at the bottom. So this would give you a strict standard, flat, hands behind back. Can you get the abs off the bench first? So the glute ham raise is good. I love the glute ham raise. I do a lot of back extensions. In fact, deadlifting single leg on a back extension is my form of deadlift. Helps rebalance between sides, allows me to train those muscles without doing powerlifting. It would form a great support for powerlifting, but glute ham raise got us good results because it wasn't measurable as a powerlifter can relate to. It didn't get us great results. It left something missing. Getting to flat bench on a strict Nordic, now that got us real freak results. Now this is a great time to point out that the actual Nordic bench is still quite affordable. Put all the links in the description of everything I use, because once you can do flat, what we found is key. The flat, it comes to us from Marty St. Louis. Look at that guy's legs, okay? 35, we all have to have respect for that. This video of Marty St. Louis doing that, strict form, 35 years old. He was the only guy in the gym out of 25 NHLers who could do it, and at 35 was still leading the league in scoring, one of the fastest guys. But once we can do one of those, our reps change. You just go up with a strict rep. Now you challenge yourself, 3 cheetahs. Look at that guy. Guy's jacked out of his mind, insanely fast. Success leaves clues. So we do our 3 cheetahs. And then yes, some of you might hate me for it, but then we get one Ben Patrick. The Ben Patrick, because I haven't seen this anywhere, I'm obsessed with knee bulletproofing, is how much of your thigh can you get to cover the bench before the torso touches. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never a strength. So for any powerlifters watching this, if maybe you thought we were different, consider that maybe I'm actually the most powerlifting guy who just kept playing basketball. No freaking dinky drills with a band for me. 25% of body weight. How many reps can you do? Can you do 20? If not, you're not at the standard. You could get more bulletproof for a 1-foot jump. Do you need this for powerlifting? No. Has it absolutely changed my life for 1-foot jumping and for being able to play basketball like a complete savage? Absolutely. I didn't go from a 19 to 42 inch vertical from wishful thinking and band drills. And unfortunately, you see a lot of competitors in the basketball space doing a bunch of stuff that if you look at it, there is very little adaptation going on. The greats will stay great. The shit athletes like me will stay shit athletes. Not in my system. It's measurable. It's powerlifting. Okay, so that's all I'm asking you to look at here, is that maybe I'm actually the most powerlifting freaking mindset guy who just happened to be a skinny basketball player. Huge thanks to Mark Bell who's having me as his guest at Super Training Gym this week. I can assure you I'll be doing everything in my power so that power lifters can pursue their potential without knees in the way I have been able to with my jumping. And huge shout out to Steffi Cohen, 25-time world powerlifting record holder who has some of the strongest knees over toes in the world. Success leaves clues, baby. And even that regresses. This is the same thing as what I just did with the dumbbell. This is the exact same thing. So literally everything regresses. And I realize I should say as a last note that this is not mandatory in my system. If anything, this is more of a byproduct of the rest of the system. In fact, the system itself is so regressed. Again, my mom is able to do every single program, and this would be one of the only optional type exercises. Everything else, no matter who you are, you can do any step.